say this is the most bizarre vernal pool I have ever seen. It looks like it's just jack pine that's been flooded.
During the 2015-2016 school year, Onaway High School service learning students became civilian scientists to become part of a statewide vernal pool mapping and monitoring project. The students had the opportunity to partner with scientists from the Michigan Natural Features Inventory to learn about vernal pool ecology.
We are civilian scientists.
We are civilian scientists. Okay, come on.
Vernal pools are small, shallow depressions that temporarily fill with water in the spring from sources such as rainfall, snowmelt, groundwater, or floodwaters, then are usually dry in the fall.
So this is what it fits the definition.
Yeah.
What else do we want to look for besides the fact that it's small and isolated and has water?
Little is known about vernal pools in Michigan, but generally they occur in forested landscape.
So it's an evergreen, right? So they call these conifer trees because they produce cones. But if you go in and you take these leaves off, they're attached together 2 at a time. And so they come off together like that, and they're really long. This is red pine. And this is what you have plantations of red pine that they use for the timber industry. This tree you want to etch in your brain because you guys are famous in the world for this tree. This is the jack pine. That's the one that the Kirtland Warbler. It will only nest in jack pine plantations that are a certain age. And they literally have planted this whole thing up so there's always the right age for some of them somewhere. And the really interesting thing about this conifer, here's the cones right here. So what do you notice about these cones? These little
they're closed.
They're closed.
Yeah.
Maple looks like the Canadian flag, right?
Yeah.
With 3 lobes.
Yeah, this is little.
So these have more than that.
It's a little hard.
So I can see why you would think this was a maple, but really there's more lobes than the 3.
Yeah.
So those are pointed, red oak. There's 5 in a bundle, and they're also shorter.
If I had my little book, I would be able to.
What is an invasive species anyway? This probably came in contaminated seed for crops and agriculture. And what happens is that all the other species have been here for thousands of years, evolving together, all these complex relationships. And you get a species that came in, it's like somebody invaded your party that didn't belong, and they don't play by the rules. And this thing is taking over acres and acres. It's spotted knapweed. See, this has the little leaves, and this has these big ones. This is called bearberry, and it gets these really bright red berries, and bears eat them.
Vernal pools provide critical habitat for wildlife, housing over 550 species of plants and animals. These provide an important source of food and nutrients for other animals, plants, and the forest ecosystem. There are several species called indicator species which require vernal pools for all or part of their life cycle. The invertebrate fairy shrimp spend their entire lives in a single vernal pool. Their eggs require drying, flooding, and potentially freezing to hatch. Although wood frogs, spotted salamanders, and blue spotted salamanders can breed in other wetlands, they are more successful in vernal pools due to the lack of predatory fish that would eat their eggs and larvae.
There were trees on the inside and outsides of the pool.
Okay.
There was about 8 trees that we saw throughout the whole thing. Floating plants, we didn't really see any floating plants, but emerging plants, that was about 10 to 25%.
In service of science in their community, students collected and reported data to the Michigan Natural Features Inventory to populate a statewide vernal pool monitoring database.
And there wasn't really any human disturbance.